and welcome to the Cascade Challenge Round 1 MP40 with fairwaymedia.golf in collaboration with the Intentional Disc Golfer Podcast.
Hi, I'm one of your intentional disc golfers, and my name is Brandon.
And I'm Jenny, and we have the Great Northwest Point Series. The Cascade Challenge is part of that series. Jeff Corns and Nick Wolter are the tournament directors for the Cascade Challenge at Shelton Springs Disc Golf Course in Mason County.
We're going to be teeing off from the Timber Claw pads, which are the white pads. We got Jermaine Rodriguez, John Anderson, Shawn Barnett, and Daniel Glass.
Hole 1, here we go.
Hole 1 is a par 3, 285 feet. Over there on the right side by the power line, you have some out of bounds and the deep stuff there. You also have out of bounds deep into that wetland beyond that sign. What we're going to be looking for is a nice big hyzer through one of the gaps. There's two gaps, a right hand and a left hand side.
Really? A right and left?
There's a right hand and a left hand gap, Jenny.
And everyone's ready to go. Everyone got their nuts.
All right, we got John Anderson teeing off.
Looks like he took the outside gap. Landed right outside of circle 1. Now we have Shawn Barnett teeing off.
Oh. Shawn Barnett hits an early tree trying to take that inside route. You have Jermaine Rodriguez finding the out of bounds wide. Daniel Glass teeing off. And Daniel Glass found the edge of the circle.
Shawn's showing us his scramble game.
Looks like a layup to the edge of circle 2. And here's Shawn Barnett again.
Good run.
Jermaine Rodriguez with a little too much on that one. We got Daniel Glass. And John Anderson giving it a bid right here.
Oh, cage out.
Disappointing cage out right there.
And we're just going to clean up. Shawn Barnett starting the round with a bogey. Same with Jermaine.
And we got Daniel and John putting it in for an easy par. All right, we have hole 2. This is a par 5, 755 feet. There is hazard early. You have to fly that. It's about 250. And then you have OB long. You got to get up to the mouth of these woods. This is the right-hand gap that you're seeing, but backwards. And as we spin around here, there we go. There is the basket about 30 feet to the left of the previous basket position, protected by a lot of guardian trees. And John Anderson getting ready to tee off.
And what Brandon didn't say is that there's a gap there about 10 feet wide or so between those trees that you need to hit between there.
Well, it's a tough gap, and you have to fly that hazard. Otherwise, you're in trouble. We got Daniel Glass here.
Well, I can say for the ladies, we all landed in that hazard. I am beyond impressed how far those discs are flying.
Yeah, so far so good. We're all pressing the outside edge of that boundary there. No out of bounds yet. Oh, flirting with it. All right, Jermaine Rodriguez.
Right. Great placement for the second shot.
That is exactly where you want to land.
Maybe released a little early, hit that tree in the middle.
That's that left-hand gap. You can get through there, but it is quite messy.
Yeah. Daniel not happy with that, hugging the right side.
John Anderson here.
Beautiful.
Looking for that full flight, but we're going to be frenzies with Daniel.
I guess he's got a hot shot. The firemen were after him too.
Woot woot.
Oh, great, sneaking through.
Looks like a lovely full flight from Jermaine. And Daniel Glass, circle 2 somewhere?
Good up.
And Shawn Barnett giving it a bid. No, just a layup.
And here we have John Anderson, rare look for an eagle.
And he's gonna sink it. Woo!
Looks like a great spot to me.
And he's the only one who took an eagle on that hole for MP40. Nice shot.
Shawn Barnett, clean up. Oh. High right side spit out. That is not fun. These baskets are the Discraft Chainstar baskets, I believe. They got a lot of chains to them, very heavy and prone to spit outs if you get around the edges. So the way to hit these baskets is dead center and very hard.
I don't have a problem with them.
Well, that's because you're good at putting. We got a hole 3, got a 295-foot par 3. The idea is that you want to shoot one right up the middle, just like any other hole. However, once you get down there about halfway, there is this little squiggly tree with a bigger tree right behind it. You got to pick a side and commit to a shot here to enable to hit the circle. So
I'll say it's more like a third of the way down.
maybe a third of the way down. Nah, it's a little further than that.
Oh, it's more than half.
All right, we got John Anderson teeing off.
Yep. There's the tree.
It's an early tree. Daniel Glass.
Nice shot.
Yeah, it looks like he pushed that right-hand side and rewarded with a C1 hit. And Jermaine Rodriguez.
Taking a very similar line, landing in circle 1.
And Shawn Barnett. Ooh, he's taking the left-hand gap. Got John Anderson pitching from the rough.
Giving it a run. Outside bullseye?
Probably about 12, 13 feet. We got Shawn Barnett with his putt. Looks like about edge of circle.
Oh.
Ooh, and the high left chain out. Jermaine Rodriguez putting in a birdie with authority.
Daniel connecting for the birdie.
That's a good putt right there.
John Anderson cleaning up with the par.
That's a good par save from back there. And Shawn Barnett with a little cleanup and another par. Moving on to hole 4, we got a par 4, 535 feet. The idea here is that you want to throw a nice little turnover shot and get up to where that kind of little bitty tree is with the V in it. You got a choice of 2 gaps, one off to the far right, one right up the middle. There is OB over towards that road on your left-hand side, and then these bushes coming up here on the left-hand side are trouble. You can get stuck in those very easily. Very well guarded basket and guarded fairway. It's kind of a throw and hope if you are a little bit off your game. And here is Daniel Glass teeing off. Daniel putting out a beautiful turnover into the middle of the fairway. Jermaine looks like he's going to follow suit, but it stables out early and goes out of bounds.
Oh. Hey, it stayed in bounds.
Yeah, saved by the bushes. And Shawn Barnett.
That's a great
That's
shot.
a good shot shape. I like that.
I'd be happy to be there from Reds.
Shawn Anderson picking the big gap.
That's kind of scary.
He may find those
real.
bushes on the left side.
That was really close to the OB.
Yeah, it was.
Nice shot.
Nice little hyzer.
Yeah, that might be circle 2. And glass.
Get.
The
Oh,
sidearm. That's
Kicked
a fair.
out.
That's a fair tree kick right there.
yeah. And laying up.
About maybe 12 feet. This is John Anderson. Giving it a run and ending up on the edge of the bullseye.
Jermaine giving it a try.
It's a good bid from a knee back there.
Nice birdie, Shawn.
Indeed, that's a tough putt. I mean, you're back in the bush there, and you're having some issues with maybe backswing, things in your vision, and that's what you're going to get at Shelton Springs. I mean, 30, 40 foot obstructed is the norm out here.
And Shawn was the only one out of our field today taking that birdie.
All right, we have a par 3, hole number 5, par 3, 325 feet. If you look off to the left, you can see there's a Mando sign in that tree. You have to shoot this gap, and you have to push probably about 300 feet dead straight, and then hyzer into the basket if you hope to get circle 1. There are a few hedges and bushes here that guard the basket pretty well, so again, you're looking at that 30 to 40 foot obstructed putt.
It's one of my favorite holes. Oh.
Shawn Barnett taking the early tree.
Looks like Daniel made the Mando.
John Anderson.
Ooh, nice shot.
Oh, yeah. And what you're looking for here is just to make that
He's gonna be
Mando.
right up there.
If you can make that Mando, you're in good shape. And then whatever distance you can chew up after that is good stuff.
Oh, hit a late tree right there at the turn.
There is a tree on that corner that people tend to find. Yeah, Shawn Barnett with his recovery shot. I'm not sure if that tree kick helped him or hurt him.
Jermaine pitching up.
That should be in the bullseye. In a glass.
Do it.
Gets over the hedge. You're probably looking at a 20 to 25 footer in front of that bush there.
Come on, get it. Come on.
Oh, giving it a run.
That's a heck of a run. Wow, and another spit out. These baskets have been spitting out discs all weekend. And Jermaine Rodriguez.
Taking that bogey. It happens. Especially on that hole.
Yeah, John Anderson cleaning up for par. All right, we have hole 6. It is a par 3, 345 feet. Luckily, the white pad is kind of out in the open. What you got to be worried about on this hole is the wind. You got a lot of right to left crosswind normally, and the idea is you want to throw it nice and deep and then hyzer into the circle. We're going to have Daniel Glass show us how to do it right here. You can see the air bounce there.
Oh, last second.
Couple more air bounces. Yeah, and there is OB off to the left up there by the basket too, so you got to make sure it doesn't go too far.
Jermaine Rodriguez letting go of one low, and it looks like it's pulled.
Oh, gosh.
That one did not come back at all. It just went straighter and straight.
Yeah, it looked like it almost hit the road. Like, that's amazing. Little pitch up.
That seems like it's in bullseye. Oh, we got... Who's this? Is this John Anderson? No, that's Shawn Barnett. Oh, we got Shawn Barnett.
That is quite an interesting,
I've never been back there.
yeah.
All right, John Anderson from Edge of Circle.
Oh.
You know, that's the thing about these baskets. They have those 2.5-inch bands on the top of them, and so the high band out is a very, very common miss.
Oh. Bit of a misfire there from Daniel. Recovery for the par.
Yeah, and that's a tough one because usually when you're coming back on that putt, you're facing a headwind, so this have a tendency to float on you. Got Jermaine Rodriguez putting it in for a par. Nice putt, Shawn. And John Anderson cleaning it up. All right, we have hole 7 here. It is a par 4, 560 feet from the white pads. You got to shoot this gap, which isn't terribly difficult. You got OB on the left. There used to be a couple hazards up there, but they're not anymore. That white circle you see is actually a mando tree. You have to go to the left of that and push all the way into these woods to a well-guarded basket. You have these 2 guardian trees in front, and then you also have a little ghost tree that you can't see off to the left, so coming in from the left-hand side is pretty difficult. Daniel Glass with the tee off.
And we're checking in on the second card of MP40 up there ahead of him.
John Anderson. And you see them all making the similar play here. It is kind of a flexy, long drive. He finds himself in the woods off to the left. There's some mess back there.
I think we lost sight of that one. Oh, yeah. Roll.
Jermaine Rodriguez going with the sidearm, not even going to pretend to mess with those out-of-bounds flags. Shawn Barnett.
Oh, he might be pushing that mando.
Ooh, I don't know if he made the mando or not.
I think he made a squirrel mad, too.
I got Shawn Barnett. Looks like he's at the drop zone. The drop zone is about 230 feet in the middle of the fairway. And that's going to find itself on the edge of circle 2, probably.
Looks like it went a little straighter than he wanted.
Oh, and that's that ghost tree I was talking about earlier.
Coming all the way back in, probably circle 1.
Yeah, the right-hand side is a little bit of a cleaner approach.
Oh,
It's a well-guarded basket.
the trees are doing its job.
Yep, Shawn Barnett missing and ending up probably about 13 feet. Jermaine Rodriguez giving it a shot here.
That's
Nice
And that's
save.
good. Look at that.
nice
We
job.
have John Anderson taking the birdie.
Flirting with the left side of the basket, but the basket made a good catch there.
And Daniel Glass with the other birdie on the day.
Slamming it in pretty high, but it stuck.
You seem to have a problem with these baskets.
I don't like these baskets. They're tough to play on.
And Shawn with the bogey.
That's a pretty good putt for a bogey save, honestly. All right, we have a hole number 8, par 3, 290 feet.
This is known as the False Island.
The false island, that's right. There are 2 lines here. There's one off to the left if you can go over that little broken tree. There's also one off to the right there if you shoot this little very tiny gap. It's probably about 15 feet, about halfway down the fairway. You could find yourself in the circle. Big risk, big reward.
And there's a log there that you need to clear in order to get up into that circle.
What's in the net?
Gonna be off on the left side there.
Beautiful.
John Anderson showing us how it's done. See, this is that left-hand sidearm gap that I was talking about. And if you can get through those last few guardians over there that protect the basket, you're going to find yourself real, real close. We got Shawn Barnett lining up a tee shot.
I didn't even know that that left-hand side was a line.
Try that turnover shot. Really good, but
Way to go, ace running it. Nice birdie.
Ooh, that is a good shot.
Who needs to make it past that log?
Well, and that's exactly where you want to hit the basket, is kind of that middle right-hand side.
What is your problem with these baskets?
I don't like these baskets.
Yeah, stop talking about them. They're there.
They're red. Ooh,
Oh.
that's a nasty spit out. Right through the chains. See, this is why I don't like the baskets.
All right, John.
And John taking a birdie as well.
Hitting that left-hand side, that's going to come back and bite him eventually.
Nice, dude.
And Shawn Barnett also taking a birdie. So 3 birdies on the day on hole 8. Jermaine with the par.
All right, we have hole 9. It's a par 4, 505 feet. You want to hit this small gap. There is a Mando off to the right that you can miss. And if you look out to the left here, there is a road. On or over the road is out of bounds. And if you find yourself going long, you can find out of bounds long. If you look over to the right on these trees, there's some yellow hazard marks. That is a hazard. Play it as it lies, 1-stroke penalty. Most players will throw up to the mouth of these woods here and then put an approach shot in, take their putt for birdie. At least that's the plan.
And quite a few times the wind will take you into that OB or the hazard.
You know, that's a good point, Jenny. Usually on this hole, you're facing a pretty staunch headwind, and it has a tendency to flip your discs over.
Oh no, hitting that long OB.
Shawn Barnett.
Oh, gonna be facing that hazard on a second shot.
Jermaine Rodriguez. Letting loose with the sidearm there. It's one way to do it.
Also facing that hazard.
There is a gap, but you have to go right over the hazard in order to do it and hope you don't hit anything.
Yeah, lots of trees stopping you there.
Nice shot, John.
Looks like he's in the bullseye.
Shawn Barnett.
Going around the hazard.
Yeah.
That's smart golf, taking the trees out of play. We got Daniel Glass with a jump putt there.
Go.
And that crosswind really just crushed the disc and knocked it down to the edge of circle one.
Nice birdie.
I still don't like these baskets.
Through that mat.
Also a nice birdie. Shawn Barnett. Also looking at a birdie.
Nice.
And I don't think you're going to believe me on this one, but John Anderson was the only par on the day on hole 9.
Star frame?
Everyone else with the birdies.
We got Daniel Glass on hole 10. This is the infamous island hole. You have to land inside of this island. It is a mandatory, or take it from the drop zone with a stroke penalty.
And the drop zone's about 50 feet or so away.
Yeah, this is a very tight gap with trees on either side.
And the island is quite generous. It is a bit larger than it was last year. The walls definitely come into play. They have a job to do, and hopefully they stop the discs for you.
Looks like everybody so far has landed in the...
Oh.
Ooh. John Anderson putting it right under the basket. And Shawn Barnett. See, the trouble here is that if you miss
Nice
this,
birdie.
that OB comes up quick, and you could be looking at a stroke penalty.
Yeah, behind the basket.
Yeah, fearless Shawn Barnett puts one in.
Jermaine with the birdie.
No, I didn't want to get
And you do get a meter relief off of this out-of-bounds wall there. So, and a nice tap in.
Yes, and everyone got a birdie except for Rocky Gould.
Rocky Gould. All right, we got hole number 11. We have a par 4, 250 feet. I don't think that's quite right. Anyway, you gotta throw the disc a long ways through these trees.
11 is a par 4, 535 feet.
535 feet. You gotta throw a long ways up some really tight gaps. A lot of trees to miss. If you get lucky and find yourself in the fairway, you do have a tight and narrow gap all the way down to the basket. And there is a hedge on the right-hand side of the basket that protects the entire right side of the circle, which is a pain in the butt to putt from.
Hitting an early tree for Daniel, going off to the right by the red tee pads.
And that's what you're looking for, folks, is get out into that fairway way down there. We got Jermaine Rodriguez.
Oh, hitting that tree and rolling off to the red tee pads fairway.
John Anderson. and that's pretty much what you want to go for right there.
Yep. Aiming for the card in front of him.
Oh, are you kidding me?
Nope, not kidding.
Doing some branch trimming there.
Jermaine looks to be favoring the sidearm. Big flex shot going around the corner. It sounds like we're getting bombed. Like,
John Anderson.
that?
Yeah, that was a bomb. Way to go. Throwing that hyzer.
Holy cow.
I'm very familiar with that shot from that place. Giving it a run. Oh. Good bid.
There's Jermaine again. Keeps Jermaine. It's probably German. I'm slaughtering that probably. Just outside of circle for Daniel.
Oh.
There's that band out again. 2.5-inch band on these baskets. Unnecessary.
And Shawn with a birdie.
Way to go, Shawn. Looks like German coming up with the par save. You got John Anderson putting in the birdie, and Daniel Glass with his cleanup bid right here.
With a bogey.
And that is a bogey, yeah. Hole 12. We got a par 5, 880 feet. It is a very zigzaggy hole with a lot of narrow gaps. You can find yourself hitting trees real quick. The idea is a nice turnover shot up by this red tee pad will give you a good look at the fairway.
The idea is that we're all still trying to figure it out because it's a brand new hole here at Shelton Springs.
Yes, it's a long zigzaggy hole. I seem to have it figured out, though. I did pretty well on it. Huh?
So the drone is kind of showing you what could be one of the better routes. I have not seen anybody go through this cleanly.
Yeah, if you can get through on the drone's flight path there, you're going to be a happy camper. But it is a long, tight hole with a lot of danger.
A lot of foliage.
Shawn Barnett teeing off. And looks like he's going to give himself a fairway hit.
John Anderson pulling it a little too far right. He's going to be in the stuff past the red tee pad.
That's where Ricky Wysocki landed during the Pro Tour when I was scoring his card, and he spent his whole entire hole 12 over there on the right-hand side, just scrambling up to the basket.
Jermaine getting right up in the center of the fairway.
Daniel Glass teeing off.
And landing in one of the trees off to the left.
There is a clump of foliage, I guess, a bunch of low trees or bushes on kind of the center of the fairway there. That's pretty deep and hard to get out of. You can see Daniel Glass with the sidearm up and over.
I want to say Jermaine kept that pretty clean. Just doing a little hyzer up to the center.
Yeah. Here's John Anderson demonstrating for us the Wysocki line. Also, one of the dangers of this hole is lots and lots of trees.
Yeah. Shawn trying to flex it through right there.
Oh.
An unfortunate
See
tree.
that tree?
Yeah.
Oh, John almost making it out and hitting back into the
Has there
stuff
been
on
a
the
shot
right.
yet without hitting a tree?
Yeah, Jermaine's kept it in the center.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, go Jermaine.
There we go.
Okay, you see that red stake there is about 100 feet away from the basket, so he may be looking at a circle 2 hit. Daniel Glass. maybe about 200.
Oh, don't turn.
And there is those same kind of trees over there to the left-hand side of the basket that really kind of guard your approach shot from getting in there tight.
Yep, there's another tree.
Shawn Barnett is getting bombed.
Love that line.
And throwing a bomb.
And not that one. From the woods and into the circle, possibly the bullseye.
Right
Dang,
into
I'll
it.
just get in that big tree.
Yeah, that's why that tree's there.
Giving it a run.
So where he's throwing from was outside of Circle 2. That's a very, very long bid.
Nice little pitch up there for Jermaine.
Yeah, possibly inside the bullseye. And Shawn Barnett in the woods. I guess the whole thing's in the woods, isn't it?
Good.
Nah, he's in Narnia.
Narnia.
Nice pitch up.
Yeah. As dubbed by Aaron Gossage, Narnia.
No.
No?
And John taking a double.
Ooh.
Jermaine keeping it clean, showing us how to do it with a par.
Getting out of this hole with a par is an accomplishment, especially from white pads.
Daniel taking a bogey.
And another par. Look at that, Shawn Barnett.
Shout out to Andrew Rivers for taking the only birdie.
Way to go, Andrew Rivers. We have hole 13 with a par 4, 601 feet. What you want to do here is hit this tight gap with a deep pressing turnover shot. You want to turn this corner, and then once you do, you have a 300-foot tunnel shot to reach the basket. Lots of trees, so you got to throw this one straight. Not a lot of room for flexes or for turnovers.
And this is the second hole that broke the Pro Tour.
And here is the triangle, just full of wood chips.
Full of what?
Wood chips.
Wood chips?
Wood chips. We build them out of wood up here in the Northwest. Shawn Barnett is going to show us how it's done. Here is that.
Really pretty disc.
Pressing turnover shots. And that's a typical miss. You go a little bit long there, but there's still a clean line through there.
I would not call that a miss.
Looking about 300. And here's the other option. That right-hand side is going to give you some tree trouble.
There is not a single side that's not going to give you some tree trouble. Like, there's tree trouble on both sides. If you end up on the right, I call that the Ulibarri line.
It's really the less of two evils is what it is. John Anderson putting a move on this one, ending up in that long issue there, about 300 from the basket. Daniel Glass attempting to put one back in the fairway here.
Probably a little straighter than he wanted, but it's up there.
What do you think, circle 2?
Oh yeah, it's definitely circle 2, but it's probably in the stuff right there on the other side of the path.
That's the safari line from John Anderson. Holy cow.
Oh, Shawn getting an unfortunate tree back into Narnia.
That's going to leave him about 200 out from the basket, probably.
Yeah, you're right there. There's the pole.
Yep.
Hell yeah, it is.
Oh, great out.
Wow.
Right up there,
that's a
circle
shot.
one.
Now, overall, when we played these holes, these took probably 20 minutes a hole to play, if not more.
Oh, good bid there for Jermaine.
There's a lot of cards that spent probably about an hour just on hole 12 and 13.
Nice putt. Shawn Barnett with the par. John giving it a run. Oh.
John Anderson threw the stuff with an unfortunate cage out. We got Jermaine Rodriguez, and Daniel Glass and John Anderson both taking the par for a tap.
All right, and the whole field took either a par or a bogey. No birdies on that one today.
So we got hole 14. It's a par 3, 360 feet. This is another tight gap. You can get through here with a turnover on this inside line over that shrub on the right, or you can do a sidearm, push it long, and let it hyzer in to the basket through this opening right here. A lot of players have a tendency to pull it too far right and end up short, so we'll see what happens.
I'm going to say I don't think I've ever seen a disc fly the way the drone did.
Well, that's the sidearm line.
Well,
drone
that's
took.
why.
Yeah.
Doing a flex shot.
Well, if you have a 360-foot sidearm, I mean, like, go for it. I mean, but that's a hefty order.
Pretty close.
And these are all those turnover shots. They have a tendency to do that, either hit a tree or end up way too far right. Yeah, that's the tree. John Anderson. And that's that way too far right play that I was talking about. It looked like it hit a late tree back down there.
Little pitch up there.
Nice little tree kiss there to put him inside the bullseye.
We can't quite see him back there, but he's giving a good run.
That is a heck of a bid from there. Like that, I doubt he could see the basket.
We can barely see him.
Dig him out of there. Shawn Barnett right here.
Hitting the cage.
That's a dot.
Yeah, you got a dot. You're right.
A dot.
It's hard to get a dot on this one. The whole pole is covered up by logs.
I've been inside that before.
I know.
All right, Daniel Glass hitting it high right side to put it in the basket.
Getting the par.
That's a good place to hit these baskets.
Jermaine cleaning up, getting a par. I really think he would say that hitting the basket with a car would also be a good option at this point.
With a car?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Well, you said that
Well, it's not, well,
hitting it there was a good place to hit it, but
well, it's not going
with
to
what
stay.
you're saying, I don't think you want to hit it.
I don't think a car is going to fit in the basket.
Baseball bat, maybe?
I don't know. Just Shawn Barnett's going to throw it really hard.
Oh, no, he didn't.
No, he didn't. All right. Well, he still made his par, it looks like, so we're in good there.
And the whole field took par on that one. All right, so there's this nice little gap right there that kind of gets in your head. You got to get past that for sure.
There's two trees right on top of the tee pad. And then you got to push 540 feet down the fairway for a par 4. This one is fairly open. You can find a gap to the right-hand side, but if you overturn it, you can find yourself into the cabbage off to the right-hand side. The approach to the basket is a little bit downhill into this gully there, and you can see the basket right down there. And you hardly ever have a level putt. It's pretty much a downhill or an uphill putt on this hole.
Smash.
Putting
And,
a move on this
great.
one.
Yeah, threading the needle.
Oof.
You can just see the top of the basket right there.
Jermaine ranging it in. looks like he's also taking the right-hand gap. Gotta beat that tree. That's a big kick to the left. Looks like probably about 200. Shawn Anderson looking a little closer to that inside line. You see that blue stake right there? That is 300 out from the basket.
Probably didn't turn back as much as he had hoped. He's in that tree off to the right.
That's a tough tree to get out of. It's very dense over there. Don't ask me how I know.
Oh,
Ooh, that's a move.
you hear them saying, "Go in."
Yeah.
John probably not turning as much as he wanted.
Shawn got a good lie over there. He's gonna have a nice flexy approach right to the top of the hill there.
Jermaine's in a tree.
Going for a scuba?
Nice shot.
Yeah, if you get into those bushes on the right-hand side, that's pretty much the only way out of there. Is a scuba or a tomahawk or a thumber or something.
What's a scuba?
Scuba? It's like you throw it kind of upside down and
Daniel's got
let
the
it
birdie
on
there.
on your flight plate. Yeah, it's a funky shot. Shawn Anderson hitting it high, but taking down the birdie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Shawn Barnett. About 15 feet downhill. What makes this basket so tough is the elevation, is that you are up above the basket pretty much no matter where you land, unless you land deep behind it. But there's a lot of cabbage back behind the basket that you can find yourself lost in and not really having a putt.
And 57% of the field took a birdie on that hole.
There you go. We got a hole 16, par 3, 310 feet. There are two gaps here, one right up the middle with a nice pushing turnover shot. Or you can take that inside line with the sidearm, and I know a little something about that.
Yeah, 310-foot ace at Triton's of the Timbers.
That was a fun tournament. Yeah, Shawn Barnett, here's that turnover. Finds himself...
He's in that little bush that's right in front of it, off to the right.
I'm not sure if he's buried. He might be. Daniel Glass.
Making it past the bush.
A very similar landing spot. Shawn Anderson teeing off.
Oh. Getting a tree with that kick to the left.
Yeah, he pushes it a little bit wider than the rest of them and ends up with a bad tree kick. Jermaine. Sidearm up the gut. And that's a good play. You can find yourself in a good position with that sidearm.
Trying to get around all the trees that are protecting the basket.
Well, it looks like you stayed clear out of the bush. A little bit obstructed.
Nice birdie.
Great jump putt from outside the circle, putting it in nice and low. No chance to pop out.
Nice birdie as well.
Shawn Anderson putting it in for his par save. And Shawn Barnett taking the par.
And Daniel and Jermaine, the only birdies on the round today.
All right, we are looking down the fairway of hole 17. It is a par 3, 325 feet. This is a tight wooded tunnel with a sort of low ceiling. You don't want to get your disc too far up in the air, and then you need to miss the shrubbery here on the right in order to push the basket with a nice little left-hand finish. There is a death putt behind this basket. You can see where it drops off back there, and then down the hill at the bottom is a pretty hefty swamp that is not a lot of fun to putt from.
And one of the only changes from the Pro Tour is that it's no longer an elevated basket. It is back to its normal height.
Looks like Daniel Glass just put one on the edge of the circle. That's pretty good.
Decent.
Decent even.
Oh.
I'm not sure where that one went.
I think it took a bad hit and went way off to the left.
If it goes
It's
far
hard
enough,
to tell.
if it goes far enough left, it could hit Red's fairway, which wouldn't be a bad outcome necessarily.
It hit some branches. I'm not quite sure where that one stopped.
It's in there.
Near
Ace run. Look at this. Oh man.
buzzing the tower over there behind that bush that comes into play from the red pads.
Didn't quite make Red's fairway, looks like.
Beauty. Beauty. Bullseye.
Yep.
I'm not sure if he was talking about the disc or the throw.
What was that, a thumber?
I'm not sure.
Tomahawk?
It looked like a scuba almost.
Ah, giving it a bid.
Yeah,
There is a lot of ground play on this hole.
probably looks like about 50 feet that bid was. We got John Anderson from the edge of the circle, but this is a death putt. If you try to run this and you miss, it's going bye-bye.
Right outside of the circle.
Ooh, that is a fearless hit from John Anderson for birdie.
With the smile of relief on his face of, ooh, it paid off.
Oh, yeah.
Going in. Oh,
That 2.5-inch bands, I'm telling you on these things.
it's going to be the name of your next band.
A common miss.
Daniel taking a par there. Bogey. For Shawn. Jermaine also getting that par.
All right, we are on hole 18, the iconic final hole of Shelton Springs. We got a par 4, 635 feet. You have to go all the way down this gap, right up the middle, trees on the right, trees on the left, and if you get lucky enough, you can maybe hyzer around this little corner there, but if you hyzer out too early, you can find yourself in Narnia on the left-hand side, which leaves you with a 200-foot approach shot to this elevated basket on this rocky island that you can see there. And usually the wind's pushing right through there, so you're going to have to sink a putt, a difficult putt, dealing with a lot of wind factors, especially this late in the afternoon.
And didn't get to say it earlier, but John was the only one who took a birdie there on hole 17.
Oh, good for John.
And I think we're past Narnia. I think we're at Terabithia.
Terabithia.
Once we get
Yeah.
up to hole 18.
All right, good game, fellas. Good game.
Man.
Look at 'em.
Oh, yeah.
Good game.
Nux for the cameraman.
Oh yeah. If you don't say good game on hole 18, it's bad luck.
Well, Tony Morgan says you got to run it, so I hope they're all
you have
running
to
it.
do it. So there is OB long on this one if you end up pushing deep on this. And
Like
it looks
that.
like John Anderson might be flirting with
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, he got OB.
OB long, and then the cage is hazard, right? No, OB.
Well, I mean, you're
'Cause you
OB
gotta-
anyway,
yeah.
so the cage doesn't really matter. Looks like Daniel
True.
Glass pulled this.
No, dude, don't.
Not quite
Not-
sure where that went.
Yeah, not happy with it. And there's that little hyzer finish on there that's going to get around the corner. That's a darn near perfect shot, depending on where it lands.
Nice line. Beauty.
Voice controlled.
Yeah, that one looked a little pulled, but it hyzered out just in time to get him in play.
Looks like he just missed the OB line, taking that hyzer all the way over the OB.
That's not a bad spot either, because there is nothing over there on the right-hand side. So if you can get way out there and go around all that stuff, you can find yourself under the basket really easily.
Yeah.
Look at this drive. Holy crap. That looks to be edge of the circle from Jermaine. Shawn Barnett.
Revving up with that throw.
And putting
Paying
it
off.
right at the base of the bullseye.
Timing.
Yeah.
Little pitch up there. This is a scary putt.
Most of the time, this putt is into a headwind, so it can float on you.
It's into a
And there's
headwind, a
this is the
tailwind.
basket again. You see that spit out?
It's
I'm telling you.
the wind just kind of swirls around. John taking a par.
A little skip
Daniel
off the
taking
cage.
that par.
And we got Shawn Barnett finishing out with a birdie.
And Shawn was one of 2 birdies of the day. Rocky Gould had the other one. So after round 1, we have John Anderson with a -6 and Daniel Glass tied for first -6. Andrew Rivers with a -5. Shawn Barnett tied with Tom Corella -3. And Jermaine. And Rocky Gould finishing us out.
We got the Great Northwest Point Series. The Cascade Challenge is a part of that. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, tell all of your friends. We are your intentional disc golfers. My name is Brandon.
And I'm Jenny.